To me, that's inspirational, whether it, just listening to Caitlin, her work ethic, it was important to her. And I mean, she's just starting, her round of golf, if her journey. I
was trying to think of who else maybe could play today, especially in women's sports, that would.
What if I told you that a single athlete in a one day could destroy this doesn't fit the criteria of a superstar hypothetical query? This is precisely what transpired when Caitlin Clark, the A woman, who changed the course of basketball history, entered a golf course and carried out the unfeasible on a windy Friday morning. An unexpected event. Legendary Clark wasn't merely a round of golf. She emitted a wave of shock throughout the whole world of sports that leaving legends like Tiger Woods completely stunned and Steph Curry openly astounded.
Yeah. All roads lead to the Annika Pro-Am. Trust me, all roads, all cameras, all people will be tuned in for the Annika Pro-Am. Why? To see the GOAT, Caitlin Clark, take over the
However, as an elite group of golfers hurried to greet her, there was a deafening quiet from the start. The WNBA was her home. Her Yao Wilson and Angel Reese competitors had "I have nothing to say thus. At this moment, I wish you to consider this" was Caitlin Clark outgrows her rivals. So totally that they just couldn't. Can you stand to see her shine? Tell me, please share your theory in the comment section below. Everything began at the RSM Classic Prom. This event is typically a laid-back warm up with celebrities, a relaxed exhibition with little stakes, and it's a lighthearted atmosphere. However, the moment the name of Caitlin Clark featured on the player list, that custom was destroyed and replaced by a media frenzy. The golf community seldom ever sees anything else than a significant title. The word got out like wildfire on social media, transforming a specialized athletic event into the main occasion fans started hours before dawn lined the path, some of whom have driven all night long just to have the opportunity to observe the past. The vitality was tangible, a blend of interest and steadfast faith from her devoted supporters.
Places, every media outlet is covering this, and you don't say anything. That's what we were talking about this whole season. We were correct. The fans that were saying that the WNBA seems to be trying to quiet the noise of Caitlin Clark, not letting her shine to her full.
In a matter of minutes, all tickets were sold out, becoming the most sought-after item in sports, with resale prices are soaring to new heights. Usually saved for the mass last round, the scene that developed was extraordinary. For the initial instance in the history of the tournament, the audience was at Indiana and the black and gold sea of Iowa blue jerseys. With a fever, there were additional Caitlin Clark uniforms and conventional polo shirts or golf caps. The vendors were apparently taken off guard and sold out list Clark-related products prior to even the first group teed off. That there was more than simply excitement in the air. It was electrified with the expectation of seeing something that no one had ever previously observed, a turning point that went beyond the realm of sports when the voice of the announcer reverberated from the University of Iowa, now serving as the fever in Indiana. Greetings, Caitlin Clark. You could feel the course hold its breath. It was a group stop. Acknowledgement that they weren't just seeing an athlete, but a cultural phenomena entering a completely new stage.
Business is booming when Caitlin is involved. Pro-Am tickets are $25, and event organizers saw demand increase 1,200% for the Pro-Am because of Clark, one of the most popular figures in the sports world. 1,200%. Oh, it's because of me too. No, it's not. No, it's not.
This was no longer only a golf competition. Caitlin Clark was the one show, and each and every individual present sensed something was about to happen that would be discussed for years to come. On the moment of truth then arrived her initial drive. The atmosphere was heavy with attention, typically saved for an unexpected death playoff. As she entered the tee box, thousands of admirers tumbled into a quiet, such total reverence. The soft breeze was audible through the grass, and the far-off call of the bird. Everyone's eyes were fixed on the young lady wearing a golf skirt. A driver is held by a basketball star. She performed her pre-shot exercise with a concentration that appeared to obscure the whole world. Next, using a swing that was both incredibly athletic and surprisingly accurate for a novice, she linked the sharp, explosive snap of the sound of the club striking the ball reverberated like a thunderclap on the immaculate green, a sound that announces the advent of a fresh force. The ball shot into a flawless strong arc, a white missile in opposition to an unclouded blue sky, traveling through the atmosphere with an apparent set goal and making a clean landing across the 270 yards mark, a separation that would be impressive for an amateur of any season, let a novice in the sport. The throng burst forth in a surge of pure, unadulterated happiness, and surprised reporters rushed to their phones, eager to be the first to deliver the news. The camera flashes illuminated the route like a thousand photographers.
Like the W, just the presence alone of Caitlin Clark, they understand what that could do for their sport. They understand that, let's say 1,000 new eyeballs, 10,000 new eyeballs show up. If only they could get a fraction of those new eyeballs to become fans, they understand that's a win.
Woods' Tiger, observing from the sidelines with a tiny, knowing grin, was observed with an expression of unadulterated respect, a quiet nod from one GOAT to another possible one. Curry Steph afterward claimed that the initial swing was the best I have ever witnessed. A fellows praised basketball-golf hybrid that carried enormous weight. Almost immediately, news from ESPN and Golf Digest flooded the internet, referring to her as a inherent crossover ability and announcing that she had just permanently altered golf. However, this overpowering and sudden the golf community's acclaim stood in striking disparity in the way she was treated, received throughout the WNBA season, a league that some claimed seemed determined to reducing her noise instead of enhancing it, a juxtaposition that was not lost on anyone observing. And that's where the narrative adopts a contentious turn, because the world of golf celebrated making highlight reels and memes.
Clark's name affiliated with the event. They know the pub that it's gonna bring and everything that's gonna come with it. So obviously they're gonna do what's best for business. Unlike the WNBA, let's be clear here. It's just so funny, and I said this in a video before.
Two distinct voices from the world of basketball was noticeably utterly absent. Angel and Aya Wilson-Ree, who had been so outspoken and direct throughout the WNBA season, provided not a one word of congratulations for any of their social media networks. This wasn't merely a small mistake. For many, it validated a pattern that had been brewing for several months. There was a cold war both on the hardwood and in the press during the season. Clark was endured a physical ordeal of harsh, blatant words, some of which were later given an upgrade by the league following review, and was made publicly known as privileged in a manner that appeared to disregard her talent and hard effort. She was frequently the focus of severe personal trash talk, while some fans and analysts said the league had collapsed to advertise her extraordinary record-breaking, ruining the rookie campaign with the fervor that is well-deserved, frequently concentrating on group efforts rather than her individual sketch. The quiet following her victory in golf felt like the last piece of evidence that puzzle. It seems as though her accomplishment in another sport, an area where her pure, unquestionably athleticism was the final evidence of her distinct, transcending fame, a celebrity that several of her colleagues inside the league appeared reluctant to embrace or felt endangered. The admirers who had claimed throughout the season that there was an intentional, well-coordinated attempt to humble, according to Caitlin Clark, they had been validated. Their hypothesis is currently backed by this revealing silence from her most notable opponents on the court. In the meanwhile, Clark's reception from the golf community was unable to be more distinct, telling a story of two sports. Although she was frequently treated similar to an outsider in her own sport, a newbie who had to be placed in her location, she was greeted as queen on the green. Superstar Nelly Korda of the LPGA, the world's top player, directly approached Clark on the practice range and informed her, "You belong here. So welcome." An inclusive gesture that made a big impression. Maria Fassi, another elite player, reported that Caitlin has a pure energy and that she ignites a fire that we've been lacking, emphasizing the advantages influence she might have that goes beyond a ticket sales. This went beyond simple civility. It was an astute strategic identification of her, the enormous influence of generational stars, potential to expand the game of golf world, frequently perceived as remaining and conventional, comprehended the business. She might bring a tsunami. They observed the solid, indisputable 1,200% increase in demand for tickets, and was aware that even a small portion of Clark's millions of admirers potentially develop into new devoted supporters of golf, purchasing goods and observing broadcast, as well as going to upcoming events. In contrast to the W, which some detractors claim mishandled the bag by not completely taking advantage of her rival the PGA, as well as LPGA, witnessed a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity and proactively implemented the red carpet. They observed the tide rising that could raise every boat, and they decided to commemorate it, a company choice that also seemed like a sincere hug of a unique athlete. However, the genuine moment of history, the one that would solidify this day in sports history, was still to come. The stage was positioned on hole 7 as a difficult long par that had a small fairway and a protected green A gap that even experienced PGA players occasionally found it difficult to conquest, frequently resulting in bogeys or worse still buzzing from her. The crowd earlier drives slipped into in the pressure, the anticipatory silence increasing with every stride she made in the direction of her ball. Clark, exhibiting a lovely natural serenity, positioned her shot, her eyes focused on a distant target in the distance. She took a close look, breath, a brief instant of total focus, and swung. The contact was pure. The ball flew a flawless white against the expansive blue sky, its trajectory that is strong and perfect, extracting gas from the viewers as it flew. It touched down in front of the green with a soft, encouraging thud. Moreover, then, as though directed by an unseen hand, it started rolling endlessly, tracking in the direction of the pin and reaching a heart-stopping halt just inches away from the cup. A birdie with a tap. It was more akin to an eagle. The gas within the crowd erupted into a cry of unadulterated astonishment and adoration. A group release of amazement after she completed around the scoreboard informed the incredible tale. 13 under par. Not only had Caitlin Clark performed admirably, she had destroyed the prior PAM record, publishing a figure that would have been able to compete in the main competition. There was no denying the impact on business, and immediately measurable. Organizers of events subsequently showed that the demand for prom tickets are typically an inexpensive simple had exploded by 1,200% in order to have an affair only due to Clarkwood's Tiger. A later analysis of the shot was heard referring to it as one of the cleanest, the most assured swings I've ever saw from a non-pro, the final seal of approval from the person who revolutionized the game itself. With this momentous accomplishment, the public's perception of Caitlin Clark experienced a significant and long-lasting change, a profound shift in perspective that took place in real time over a digital environment. Social media didn't simply buzz, it burst into a full-blown moment in culture. Golf. Caitlin Clark trended as the top global trend on Twitter. However, that was only the starting. TikTok and Instagram were overflowing with footage of her swing to the shout of the audience, and that almost magical put on the entire 7 memes that liken her to famous multi-sport athletes such as Bo, Deion Sanders, and Jackson became viral on debate shows. Sports analysts were compelled to change course from their typical subjects to analyze the significance of all of this regarding athletics' future. The conversation was no longer limited to golf or even basketball circles enthusiasts. It attracted attention of a typical audience. Individuals who may not be aware of anything but a birdie, but recognize the importance of a superstar surpassing her sport. And in the middle of this worldwide holiday, a particular revealing feature was highlighted by the online craze is being driven by very fans. They observed that Wilson on that particular had shared an Instagram story that same day. However, it was a well-planned promotion seeking a brand partnership with no reference to Clark's historic achievement. There could not have been a greater difference, stark or more incriminating in the perspective of the public, as one woman was being praised as a talent spanning generations on a global stage. The other was performing a routine impact of marketing, a company as typical strategy that felt incredibly out of in keeping with the momentous occasion happening in the realm of sports. The remarks on Wilson's post and throughout several social media sites were quickly overwhelmed by a barrage of insightful queries and direct criticism. Why are you unable to be? Are you pleased for her? Additionally, Caitlin is making your silent history was one of the most typical refrains. However, the sentiment went far deeper. Fans started interacting the dots, creating timelines of previous relationships, perceived insults, and the Clark received physical therapy on the court persevered. Throughout the season, this one act of silence was regarded as the last confirmation data point in a long-term seasonal pattern. Initially, the court of public opinion was overwhelmingly and conclusively favorably to Clark. The narrative wasn't more about a gifted rookie becoming accepted into the ranks of professionals enduring hardship and hazing. Now, It was regarding a worldwide occurrence being validated outside of the arena in which she was intended to be limited. The game of golf course had developed into an unbiased judge, and its decision was unambiguous. Caitlin Clark had such extraordinary talent that couldn't be contained by a single game. Her WNBA competitor's silence, which may have previously been perceived as competitive gaming or straightforward indifference, was now widely perceived as via an alternative perspective. It was not observed as a slight against Clark any longer. It was commonly seen as a telling contemplation of them, an indication of petty jealousy, or an obstinate refusal to acknowledge the now obvious reality to everyone on the planet. This narrative reversal was unquestionable. The tale of the underdog that some had attempted to work against Clark, portraying her as affluent and overhyped, has vanished entirely. In its place was about a single athlete honored by sports legends, while those who are closest to her only quiet could be provided professionally. It revealed a great deal about their personal stature. In contrast to this moment demonstrated that Caitlin Clark wasn't only switching up your golf game course, she was using a completely distinct degree of fame, one that her, the WNBA's critics, just could not or wouldn't make it. Thus, what is this all cruel? We are seeing something much better than a gifted athlete enjoying a successful day in a different sport. We are witnessing the birth of a new archetype in the sports industry. Caitlin Clark is no longer merely a basketball player. She has surpassed the title to become a force in culture, a movement of her own. She stands for a change in our understanding of grandeur, demonstrating that it is a wide path rather than a large open field. From the deafening roars from crowded collegiate arenas to the sold-out WNBA events where her extremely attendance records were rewritten by presence, and now for the unprecedented quiet respect for golf greens, she is methodically altering the regulations of what a female athlete is capable of, and more. What matters most is what she is permitted to be. For many years, female athletes were frequently under pressure to specialize and be appreciative for their lane, and to remain within it. However, with just one golf club swing, it wasn't just a ball that Clark hit. She swung open a huge symbolic door for each little girl who is instructed to remain in your lane, to concentrate on one thing, to not rock the boat. She demonstrated that greatness over generations is intrinsically disruptive. It can't be confined by the limits of a certain sport, cannot be compelled to pretend to be humble, and will not be deterred by envy or institutional reluctance. Her trip is a living, breathing example of unwavering ambition, an example of how unquestionable talent, when paired with a brave work ethic, has the power to break through barriers we had no idea they were there. Consider regarding the message this conveys to the following generation. A young girl is now able to point to Caitlin Clark and observed not merely a basketball star, but as someone who demands respect from everyone. World of sports, she spots a sportsman honored by Steph and Tiger Woods, Curry greeted by Nelly Korda, and discussed on financial networks for an enormous financial impact. This broadens an actual dream. It's no longer only about joining the league, it's about realizing your potential is infinite, that your identity as competitors can be strong and nimble in a variety of disciplines. The Clark effect is now a palpable occurrence outside of basketball, an increase of 1,200% in demand for tickets, themes that are popular worldwide, and golf clubs are flying off the shelves as young admirers are motivated to follow in her footsteps. This goes beyond fandom. It's a cultural awakening. The question that is now lingering the whole world of sports isn't just about what will she do with the basketball next court. It seems nearly inevitable. More highlights, more records, more triumphs. The genuinely fascinating mystery is somewhere else. Will this fuel her start formal training with startling success throughout the WNBA offseason with golf pros? Just thinking about it gives me a rush. The golfing community, is she available for us to see? Accept an exemption from a sponsor to participate in an upcoming LPGA tournament, creating a viewers of television that might shatter all the tour's prior records. There is more to the hypothesis than that. Should she is proficient in two sports, therefore firmly, what's to prevent her from attempting a third? The self-control of the hand-eye coordination of a soccer star, of a baseball player. The story, there are countless options. Additionally, for the initially they don't appear to be a fantasy. Every league, every brand, now every marketer is staring at her and perceiving limitless possibilities. The WNBA's managing her first season will now be examined under an even more severe light. Was their alleged unwillingness to truly Embrace her fame as a historic erroneous computation did they not succeed, and can you see the title they were sitting on a trend that other sports are currently more and more inclined to ride the difference between how she was received in her native league, and she will have a royal welcome in golf subject of discussion for many years, a warning story concerning whether or not sports organizations are genuinely ready for a superstar of this size. One thing is for sure, the world is only now starting to notice Caitlin Clark's potential. The golf program continued. It was in revelation. It served as a proof of concept. If this is an unprecedented performance and it was her first time participating in a new sport. Swing, then the future she is constructing is going to be truly amazing. We are about to enter a new era where an athlete's impact extends beyond the main sport. However, it spreads outward, raise all of the industries and redefining what is feasible. She gets up at the intersection of culture, sports, and business, and every route forward appears revolutionary. I'd want to hear from you. I'm still working on this story. What do you think she'll do next act? Do you think she'll take it seriously, golf, or was this a one-time display of her incredible athleticism? Do you believe that the way the WNBA handled her was a huge historic error in judgment that they will currently need to make an urgent correction? Or do you envision a time when she becomes a true free agent in several different sports? I read every comment in the open comment section, every single one of your ideas. This isn't we're having a talk. Should you wish to remain aware of all, Caitlin Clark pulls an incredible move as she keeps changing the guidelines for contemporary. Make sure you participate in this celebrity community. Click the like button. If you feel that history is being witnessed in the creating, watch the channel for in-depth analyses of the important stories and enable alerts so you never fail to receive an update. The following chapter is you won't want to miss it when it arrives.